Joining us now from Washington, CBS News political analyst John Dickerson. John, good to have you with us as always. Over the weekend, Senators McCain and Lieberman came out with some very strong words for the president, saying that he didn't act quickly enough, or perhaps in terms of rhetoric, strongly enough to this situation. Why did it take so long for the administration to come out and say point blank, it is time for Muammar Gaddafi to go?
When I talked to administration officials during that period where the president was being tepid and soft in his remarks, they kept saying, look, we're worried about Americans in Libya, and we've got to make sure they get out of there. They say about Gaddafi, they say he's not a rational actor. That's diplomatic speak for the fact that they think he's crazy, and they thought that Americans would be targeted by Gaddafi, and they couldn't risk being harsh in their public rhetoric and having those Americans get targeted.
And then we did see that change right after it seemed that the final Americans who wanted to go were on their way out. The senators also said that the U.S. should arm the opposition. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton came out and said the U.S. would offer any kind of assistance that they asked for. What do you see the role, the U.S. role being as we move forward here?
When I mentioned that suggestion to a U.S. official last night, the word they said is bloodbath. Arming the opposition is not something that they're considering strongly at the moment. What they are thinking about is trying to create ways to get humanitarian aid or create a lane for refugees leaving Libya. They are talking about a no-fly zone, making it around Libya, although that would be something that would require international cooperation. So that's something a little bit further down the road. They will keep trying to squeeze Gaddafi, but not just Gaddafi, but those in his circle, freezing funds, saying that the International Criminal Court will go after anyone who perpetrates these atrocities. And the idea there is to break up the circle around him. If he's not going to go down, then at least maybe those around him might back off.
Slowly picking them off. I do need to make a sharp turn with you right now, because one other story that we're focusing on very heavily in this country is, of course, the potential government shutdown, which could happen Friday. However, there has been this continuing resolution which could be passed to keep the government running through mid-March. Do you see any real hope of compromise, or rather resolution here, or is this just more kicking the can down the road?
This is the hitting of the snooze bar. They will fund government for a couple of more weeks, and then they will have to go right back to the conversation about how to fund government for the rest of the fiscal year. And that's a debate about how much do you cut. And Republicans have a number around $60 billion. The White House would like a lot less than that. And everybody should remember that this is just one of several budget fights. This is just to fund government for the rest of the year. Then there's going to be another big fight about funding government for the next several years. And then we'll have another fight about the debt limit. So this is a tiny resolution, which by Washington standards is something, but there are many other big budget fights to come.
Delaying the inevitable. I like the snooze bar analogy. It works. John, thanks.